Time to strike up the band. 1, 2, 3. Keep playing. There you have it, ladies and gents. Normally, I would only play just a small portion of the Oregon fight song, but after the beatdown they put on Colorado last week, I played the whole thing. And with that, we welcome you to this Hump Day edition of the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show. Hump Day! Yes, indeed. Week 5 begins tomorrow, which means we gotta get to picking. And we have 7 games on the slate for the next 2 days. When we get to Friday, we'll do it just like we did last week. In fact, all the episodes this week will be done from home. W&J is on the road this week at Grove City in what will be a tough test for the Presidents. It's already been decided, even though it's not among the games that are being picked. Gotta go with the home team. Gotta go with the home team. I love these guys, and I could say that with a straight face, not only for my own sake, but because our athletic director is watching this very show. So, and by the way, he did give me an A for the Sacramento State upset of Stanford a couple of weeks ago. So this is legitimate. When W&J's athletic director is watching this, you know you must be doing something good. So why not sit on our laurels when we don't know of any laurels to sit on? Or as I like to always say, I'm going 0 to 60 and stopping on a dime. No dime. Let's get to the picks. Thursday, 3 games on the slate. 1 lanyard selection and 2 helmets will be unveiled, and we're going to get to the helmet ones first. We're going to begin with Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. Middle Tennessee coming off of a loss to a Colorado State team that, as far as I know, is probably laughing it up, considering the Colorado lost to Oregon and the Denver Broncos got destroyed by the Miami Dolphins last Sunday. That's cold, I know. But to be fair, there is a team in Division 2. The Ore Diggers from the Colorado School of Mines, currently number 2 in the country. And they were a runner-up in the D2 championship last year, if I recall correctly. So if there's anything to hang the hat on in Colorado, it's Colorado State and the Ore Diggers. But anyway, we don't want to jump off the page any more than we already did. So anyway, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky. It's at Western Kentucky. And I believe it's this point in the season where Western Kentucky starts to catch fire. Will they? I think so. They're playing at home. And Middle Tennessee right now isn't exactly prime time ready, at least not yet. This is one I think that the Hilltoppers should. If they have any problems, they'll be minimal, but they'll find a way to work around it. So I'm going to go with Western Kentucky at home against Middle Tennessee. Jacksonville State is at Sam Houston. Sam Houston's first foray into the FBS has been, for the most part, a series of learning experiences and growing pains. But give them time, they'll be good. Just not now. And even though Sam Houston's at home, I'm going to go with Jacksonville State on the road to knock off the Bearcats Thursday night. And now we have our first lanyard selection, the only lanyard selection for Thursday, which means it's a game that's being broadcast nationally. Temple at Tulsa. And, seems like every year when I get to the business of watching football games on Thursdays and Fridays, it always seems like Tulsa and Temple seem to be on television. This has gone on now, I think it's got to be at least 3 years of this. And regardless of whether they're on or whether they're not, some of those games have been a little competitive, but I can't see that happening this time around, especially with Tulsa. I think they're starting to gain some traction themselves, so we're going to go with the Golden Hurricane. No gold to be found here, or a hurricane, just Tulsa. So that takes care of the Wednesday selections, or rather Thursday selections for your Wednesday, for your Hump Day. Moving right along, 4 games on the slate for Friday night. We're going to do, let's see, what do we got here? We have 2 lanyard selections, 1 helmet selection, and 1 that's getting both the helmet and the lanyard treatment. So, we're going to start things with Louisville and NC State. This, I think, is probably going to be a very good ball game. And I say this in part because, number one, Louisville is undefeated. Jeff Brom is doing his alma mater proud right now. NC State, meanwhile, every so often, when you least expect it, NC State pulls off an upset. Regardless of record and ranking, there is always going to be that 1 year where nobody expects NC State to win, and they pull a rabbit out of the hat and steal one on Louisville. I've seen this happen before. I think they did it against Florida State 1 year. I was going to say Virginia, maybe Clemson. Yes, Clemson. So they're always good for that once-a-year upset that nobody expects NC State to pull off. Well, guess what? I'm riding with the pack. I am riding with the pack. Just got this funny feeling it's going to happen again. And if not this game, there will be one down the road somewhere. Maybe North Carolina. Maybe Duke. I don't think I would classify Clemson as a potential upset. Maybe Florida State. If I don't know if the schedule has all 3 of them on there, but just think of it as potential 3 match points on the racket, and you only need 1. So we're going with NC State to beat Louisville. Louisville, I would imagine, is going to win beyond this game to gain bowl eligibility. Jeff Brom's got a very good thing going on down there in Louisville right now. Louisiana Tech at UTEP. This is a helmet selection. UTEP is 1-4. Louisiana Tech is 2-3, and you have to pick somebody. I tried, and I just can't see it happening now. I can't see UTEP having a winning season. I just can't. They needed some wins out of the block. I thought maybe they could have stolen one against Northwestern. They didn't. Louisiana Tech, I could have easily had picked them to beat Nebraska, but I didn't. But Louisiana Tech needs this game, I think, as a bit of a springboard. They need to be in the conversation well into October. I can't see them beyond that, but at least, try to get a 500 record once October hits, and then we'll go from there. So for now, Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs, over the Miners at one of my favorite venues, the Sun Bowl, down in El Paso. Cincinnati and BYU. ESPN is doing the doubleheader with Louisville and NC State, Cincinnati and BYU, so it's a lanyard selection here. Well, this is a show-up game for both teams. And we've seen this play out already where both teams have had games that most people would expect them to win and didn't. Cincinnati lost to Miami of Ohio. And looking at Miami of Ohio, they got a pretty good record right now. But I'm reminded of my Mid-American Conference picks from years past. They haven't exactly been spot on. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Anyway, Cincinnati on the road, first significant Big 12 test against BYU. We know about BYU. You can beat Arkansas, and you lose to Kansas. So which team's going to show up in Provo Friday night? If I'm BYU, it's all about the mission. And they have to carry this one out. As much as I hate the thought of putting this lanyard on, I'm going to take BYU at home over Cincinnati. Forgive me. And last but not least, oh yeah, we forgot the helmet. Oh, what am I doing? It's right here. I pulled the wrong team's helmet. I was going to end up picking opposite of what I was going to pick. Nevertheless, it's the big one, the first of 5 big ones this week. Since I first introduced it for the Pitt, West Virginia game, I've gone 6-1 so far on those big one selections. Just, another wrinkle in all sorts of wrinkles. I mean, God only knows I'm going to start breaking down conference picks, for conference games. But that's too much work. Anyway, Utah, Oregon State in Corvallis. Good thing I'm going to be sleeping on that one. But make no mistake about it, it's a big one. And it's very big on a lot of levels because considering everything that most of the schools have done, the ones with all the winning records have done, that are still undefeated, we are now going to see the balancing act take center stage because there's going to be lots and lots of big matchups where everybody's going to be jockeying for position, whether it's for the conference title or, basically, getting minimum of 6 wins, maximum of 7 for bowl eligibility, and a spot on my helmet tree, of course. Those of you who don't know, we have a Christmas tradition that involves a Christmas tree with all the pocket helmets being put on from all the bowl teams and a few at-large selections. We had 100 last year. So we're almost to that point where we're going to start rounding up all the ones that claim their eligibility. That won't start happening until, I'm guessing, 2 weeks from this weekend. So, anyway, Utah. They gave UCLA a lot of fits last week, and in doing so, held them in check to just 1 touchdown. Oregon State, meanwhile, tried their luck from a shootout sense against Washington State, and needless to say, they left Pullman rather befuddled, bemused, bewildered, and there's only one thing to say with all the B words I just threw in. The next thing up the line is, be gone! I'm taking the Utes. I am taking the Utes over the Beavers in Corvallis. And that, my friends, well, I forgot to do this. That takes care of business for the Wednesday edition of the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show. All the Thursday and Friday games have now been picked. And it actually feels pretty good only having 4 lanyards on me. But make no mistake, come Friday and Saturday, there's going to be so much more. Helmet selections Friday? Maybe? All of them? Helmets and lanyards? For all the Saturday selections? Call it a game time decision. I'm still sticking with the game plan of having all the helmet selections on Friday and doing the lanyard selections on Saturday. And oh, by the way, before we take you out with the Oregon Marching Band one more time, we are including, for the first time ever, some local D2 college football from IUP and Slippery Rock. I've waited 2 years to do this with IUP and Slippery Rock. There's a story behind it. I can't wait to spring it on all of you. But it's a big matchup this week in D2. And while they may not be, they probably won't be playing in the D2 title game, they're both ranked in the top 25 D2 poll. And I'll go into more detail later on this weekend. But for now, from all of me to all of you, this has been the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show for your Wednesday. The picks are in. We're ready to rock and roll. Have yourselves a great one, and we'll talk to you later on this weekend. I'm out!